Good evening and welcome to another Mothman podcast. Tonight we're going to take on the topic of hypnotism. As a lot of people know, I'm a certified hypnotist. And in the room with me is my medium. And Amanda, you want to talk to us a little bit?
Yeah, before we start talking about hypnotism, I just want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We love our fans, and we just want to remind you to like, subscribe, and leave us comments. You can also check us out on Spotify and check out our Twitter feed. We're doing a tarot card of the day, and it may just be the message from the universe that you've been waiting to hear. You can send us an email at mothmanpodcast@gmail.com. Share your paranormal experiences, ask for an investigation, or just reach out and say hello to us. We love you guys. So we're going to learn a little bit tonight about hypnotism. And like Darrell said, he is a certified hypnotist. So Darrell, tell us a little more about that.
Well, I wanted to start off with just giving us a little history, and this is a little clip that I wanted to play just on the history of hypnotism.
A brief history of hypnosis. Hypnotism as a tool for health seems to have originated with the Hindus of ancient India, who often took their sick to be cured by hypnotic suggestion. This is also the case in ancient Egypt and Greece. Hypnotic-like inductions were used to place the individual into a sleep-like state, although it is now accepted that hypnosis is different from sleep. Avicenna, who lived between the years of 980 and 1037, was a Persian psychologist and physician who was the first to make the distinction between sleep and hypnosis. Hypnotism evolved out of a sometimes skeptical reaction to the much earlier work of magnetists and mesmerists. Paracelsus, who lived between the years of 1493 and 1541, was a Swiss physician who was the first to use magnets in his work. Many people claim to be healed after he simply waved magnets over their bodies. Valentine Greatrix, 1628 to 1666, was known as the Great Irish Stroker for his ability to heal people with the laying of hands and passing magnets over them. Johann Joseph Gassner, 1721 to 1779, was a Catholic priest who believed disease was caused by evil spirits and could be healed through incantations and prayers. A Viennese Jesuit named Maximilian Hell, 1720 to 1792, used magnets to heal by applying steel plates to the human body. One of his students was a younger medical doctor from Vienna named Franz Anton Mesmer. Western scientists first became involved in hypnosis around 1770 when Dr. Franz Mesmer, a physician from Austria, started investigating an effect he called animal magnetism or mesmerism. This word mesmerism is still very popular today. Mesmer developed his own theory and inspired himself around the writings of English physician Richard Mead. Mesmer found that after opening a patient's vein and letting the patient bleed for a while, by simply passing magnets over the wound, it would make the bleeding stop. Mesmer also discovered that simply using a wooden stick instead of magnets would also make the bleeding stop. Many years later, a man by the name of James Braid, who was a Scottish surgeon, saw a demonstration on animal magnetism and mesmerism being given by a man named Charles Lafontaine. Braid examined the physical condition of Lafontaine's magnetized subjects, especially their eyes and their eyelids, and he concluded that they were indeed in quite a different state. James Braid would go on to become the most important and influential pioneer of hypnotism and hypnotherapy. He is regarded by many as the first genuine hypnotherapist and the father of modern-day hypnotism. Braid believed that hypnotic suggestion was a valuable remedy. In the 19th century, hypnotism became mainstream, being accepted by the American Medical Association in 1958 and the British Medical Association in 1955. Modern fathers of hypnosis include James Braid, Orman McGill, and David Ellman.
Well, that's our history into it. I hope everybody enjoyed that part of it. What we wanted to try to get into now is kind of me explaining a little bit about it. Amanda, is there any questions that you want to ask?
Yeah, I would imagine that if you're learning about hypnosis and hypnotism, you kind of need to learn all about the mind and understand the mind. Can you explain a little bit about how the mind works and how all this works?
Sure, and that's true. To understand hypnosis, you've got to understand your mind. If you took and cut your head open and pulled your brain out, you have a lobe up front and a lobe in the back. The front is called your conscious mind, and the rear is called your subconscious mind. And there's an area right in the middle, which we call the critical fault. And this critical fault works as a filter to keep whatever we don't want from our conscious mind to enter our subconscious mind. And as we start out young, and we've discussed this before, children between the ages of 0 and 5 use 100% of their subconscious mind. And as we grow older and we start using these filters that we put into place, and these filters are used to block out what we don't believe. If I tell you that the sky's is turning green, and Amanda, if you don't believe me, then you're going to block that through that critical filter, and it will never enter your subconscious mind. But if I tell you that the sky is blue, turning a lighter color blue, and that, hey, look, I might have seen an object up there that's shining in the sky and I can't identify it. If you believe me, you're going to think, hey, there might be something there, and you're going to allow that to go into your subconscious mind and allow you to think about it days, weeks, or years.
It's like you allow the possibility of it.
Right. And the conscious mind, excuse me, these allergies are really killing me this time of year. I apologize to the public for that. The conscious mind is broken into 4 different areas, and the first area is willpower. And willpower is something like if you had a cigarette and you said, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop smoking, and I'm not going to smoke anymore. Well, that willpower is only as strong as your conscious mind allows it to be. And that means as long as you're thinking about it in the moment, you might not smoke that moment. But once you allow yourself to fall back into the subconscious mind, that habit is going to pop back up, and you're going to start smoking again.
Like if you're triggered or something? If
you're triggered, and whatever you triggered you from the past is in your subconscious mind, and your mind says, hey, this is going to make me feel better, then you reach in the subconscious mind and you open back up that pack of cigarettes and you're smoking again.
Oh, wow.
Then we got a part that we call the temporary memory. And what works there is like, let's say that you're living at an address today and you live there for 4 years, and then you move to another address and you move to another address. Well, we only use that part as a temporary memory in that we remember where we're at now, and we'll probably remember where we're at as long as we live there. But if you don't put that memory back into your subconscious mind, it goes away. I sat here and when I was 10 years old, where'd I live? I remember the city, but I couldn't tell you the name of the street or the house address or anything like that because I never allowed it to be in my subconscious mind. It wasn't that important to me for some reason or other.
Yeah.
So we use the temporary, and that's like driving to work and the directions to work and our family names and everything like that. It's used in the temporary part of our conscious mind. Then we have a part that's called the analytic thought process, and that's where we look for problems analyze and try to look for a solution to the problems. And we make hundreds of these decisions every day. Every day, these decisions are conscious and deliberate. So that's a part of the brain that we use every day. It's the part of the mind that we use to say, I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm going to the grocery store today. No, I'm not going. I changed my mind. I'm not going. Okay. So that's used in that part of the brain. And then we have the rational thinking. Why do we do things? The realization, our behavior. Excuse me, I'm going to try to cough again. Mm-hmm. If you yourself believe something and you believe it to be true, then to you, it's very true.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the brain that in the rationalization thinking. And it only has to be true to you. I mean, it doesn't have to be really true to anything else.
I know plenty of those people.
Okay. And then, you also have, we start moving into our subconscious mind. And that's who we really are, is our subconscious mind.
Wow.
The conscious mind is not really who we are. That's how we're acting and doing at this moment. But the subconscious mind makes up us. We're the subconscious mind because that's where our habits were formed, whether they're good or bad. That's where we recall things from the past. And it's just like when you hear the phone ring, you don't even think about it. You just pick it up and answer it. Well, why did you do that? Well, your subconscious mind.
That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do. There's a lot of people that will be sitting around biting their fingernails, and I'll ask them, why are you biting your fingernails? I don't know. I didn't realize I was.
Yeah.
It's in the subconscious mind. Twirling the hair. Girls twirl their hair a lot. And why are you doing that? I don't know. I didn't realize I was doing it. It's something in my subconscious mind.
Yeah, I do that.
And then we have our emotions for love and fear. And the conscious mind cannot control our emotions. Our emotions is controlled from our subconscious mind. It's something that we've created over the years. And like I said, children 0 to 5 years old is creating these. That sets their path for their lifetime. And as we set these paths and we put more and more into our brain, we create that filter. And this filter blocks out things from our past that we can bring forward because we only use what we need to use for the conscious mind. Mm-hmm. You and I are sitting here and we're doing this podcast, and I'm thinking about the podcast. I'm thinking, trying not to cough. Everything's going on around me. I want to make sure I cover all the contents that I want to say. I want to stop making all these verbal mispronunciations of words. And it's all this is going on in my mind, this subconscious mind, and that's what's causing me a lot of problems right now. If I didn't have this going on, I would be better off if I was more relaxed and more set back. And that's where we fall back in our subconscious mind, and we just want to make sure that we get everything in there. And that's the reason the doctors say that maybe kids can see things from their past. We're not going to get into that in this episode because we're talking about hypnosis, but they can see things from their past because they're not using this conscious mind. They're using their subconscious mind, which is 100%.
Yeah.
So they're open to everything that could be going on.
It's unfiltered.
It's unfiltered. And I believe you made a comment just before the show. You were saying, well, it's like the child can see grandma. Well, the child can see grandma because they're not filtering out the reasons why they can't see grandma.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they see grandma because grandma is apparently there in front of them. Mm-hmm. We block it out because we're saying, no, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't see that. So we're closed mind. Yeah. And we can't open up enough to say, hey, this grandma might really
be there. Yeah.
And grandma could be there. It's just that we're so closed mind, we can't see her. Yeah. Have you ever been to hypnosis is used every day, and have you ever been sitting and watching a movie and you start crying?
Yeah, totally.
And you realize, well, this is a movie. These are actors.
No, it's not real.
Nothing is real. But why are we so emotional? Well, the emotional part comes from our subconscious mind because we have allowed our conscious mind to shut down. And by us allowing our conscious mind to shut down, we're now going back into, remember the language of the, I don't know if I covered this or not, but the language of the conscious mind is logic, and the language of the subconscious mind is imagination.
Okay.
So we have allowed ourselves to go back into whatever we saw on the images on the TV, which resulted in us becoming emotional from something that happened to us in the past, which is either good or bad.
Yeah.
But and we've allowed this to happen, and we allowed it to happen because we shut down our conscious mind. Belief is all in one's own perception. So you either believe something happened or you don't believe something happened. And here again, we're talking about the conscious mind allowing it to filter to the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Hypnosis is just a way of someone like myself letting you, or you allowing me, let's put it that way, you allowing me to bring you into a state of calm. You trust me in that you are listening to my voice, and you're becoming more and more rested. You're becoming more and more deeper in sleep. And when I say sleep, it is a opened, it's not a dream sleep. It is a conscious sleep, okay? So you're going more and more deeper into this realm of relaxation. You're shutting down that conscious mind. You're not hearing anything except for the sound of my voice. And from the sound of my voice, I'm allowing you to go deeper, deeper, and deeper. And as you get deeper into this relaxation, then you start seeing what's in your subconscious mind. Just like we cry while we're watching the TV. We've shut down that conscious mind. So that's where hypnotism can help you. Doctors have shown that hypnotism has helped people heal themselves due to the fact that a lot of your stress and your illnesses come from tensions and from your conscious mind. And remember, anytime the conscious mind and the subconscious mind conflict, which is the logic and the imagination is always going to win. So we've got to allow ourselves to go back there and to relax and stop that conscious mind of that pain that we constantly feel, because we need to think about a day that is warm, we're younger, we're setting, the heat is from the sun is beating on our face. And as we feel this heat, we just allow the pain just to go away. It just vanishes into thin air. And hopefully when you come out of this sleep, then that pain has gone away. So there's a lot of things people can do with this hypnotherapy and hypnosis. And I'm here to help anyone that needs their help, that needs help. Let's put it that way. I can't promise you anything, but I can tell you that it is proven fact that it works. So, you and I will just get together and see where it goes. And hopefully that we can shut down, or I can plant a seed in your subconscious mind that you will start acting on without even thinking, because that's where we do it. We slam on the brakes when we see a car pulling out in front of us because we've been taught that's what we do, and you've allowed it to be in your subconscious mind, and it causes an action for a reaction. So that's where we're going with it.
So can I ask you a couple more questions?
Sure.
So you talked about that it has health benefits. That's a really cool prospect, I guess you would say. What kind of health benefits can you address with hypnotism?
Quite a few stress related, a lot of pain. There was doctors in the class that I went through. I went through a training seminar and training classes in Asheville, North Carolina, which consisted of a few weeks to get my hypnotherapy certification. But the doctors go in and try to use relaxation and hypnosis to allow their patients to heal. A lot of time we tense up. I went through back surgery, and before the surgery, I was in a lot of pain. So I used self-hypnosis, and I also used the pain was just not there after the surgery.
Wow.
But the nurse would come in and she says, "Is there something wrong with this drip?" And they had a hydrocodone type drip there.
Uh-huh.
And you press a button and it would give you a shot or whatever it gave you into
Yeah.
your IV. And I said, "No, I don't think so. I just don't use it." And she says, "Oh, yes." But it's the whole thing.
Because most people use the max amount.
Right, they do. And but to me, first off, I don't like drugs. But second thing is they use the drugs, and she convinced me to use it every once in a while because the more relaxed the body is, the more healing power it has.
Oh, wow.
So, that's one of the reasons that you use hypnotherapy is the fact that you want to become relaxed and allow your body to heal. And
it's like it takes that stress off the injury type of thing.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That makes sense.
And that's one of the things that they use. They use hypnotherapy also when it comes to recalling accidents, recalling victims of crimes, rapes, this sort of thing, because their conscious mind is blocking everything from what they actually saw, which is probably then put into their subconscious mind. So you've got to shut down all that misery, pain, and that's there so that you can go past it, go through the filters, and get to the subconscious mind.
And that's kind of the definition of PTSD, right? Your mind is kind of splitting off and saying, I refuse to deal with the trauma I've just had. So would hypnotism work on veterans and people who have been through war?
Yes, it does. And matter of fact, I've worked with some veterans. The problem with veterans is it's just like you said. Now I'm a combat veteran. I was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You have a tendency of wanting to block out everything that you feel is bad in your life. And by shutting that down, it causes tensions within yourself. It causes tensions within your brain. And here again, we're talking about the logic and the imagination. And you can't make sense of what happened. And so therefore, you try to compress the thoughts, the feelings, and your body can only take so much, and then it's going to break. And what we try to do is there's something there, and you might not even realize what it is. I had to take some therapy to find out what mine really was, and but there was a excuse me again. There was a situation, which I won't get into now, but apparently it affected me a whole lot worse than I thought it did. It was just another one of those combat issues, but I dwelled on it because there was a family involved, and that really upset me beyond my current recall, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then that was causing tensions, causing nightmares, causing all kind of problems. So there could be something there. And when we talk about PTSD doesn't have to be a combat situation too. We're talking about maybe people involved in major traffic accidents, people involved in shootings like in Texas and all over our country, all over the world.
Any trauma
to anyone. There could be PTSD there that you need to address. So yes, that's a great healing tool for any kind of trauma that you've been through.
And trauma is defined by the individual. Like what's traumatic to me may not be traumatic to someone else. So it could be that someone says, well, this thing happened to me and I feel silly, but I would like to try hypnosis to deal with it because it was traumatic.
And that's true. And here again, it's we're talking about, what we're allowing from the conscious to filter back to our subconscious. By me being in a combat situation, I've probably allowed more to come back than you would have. So certain things might, and that's the reason you see veterans come back from a combat zone and you'll hear a backfire, and next thing you know, they're flying in the floor and they're crawling under bed. That's a reaction which they have created through their combat experience, which they've allowed to come to their subconscious. they don't even realize they're diving in the floor. They
Right.
don't even realize they're taking cover.
Yeah.
It's become an automated action to them. And sometimes we need to go in and help them work through these and get them out of that situation.
Right.
Rather than leaving that demon in there and causing
Yeah.
problems down the road. So, and that's here again, that's where we're talking about with our filters. And
So can anybody be hypnotized? Is everybody capable of it? I hear some people like, oh, nobody can hypnotize me kind of thing. But is that true? What's true about that?
a person can be hypnotized. Anybody can be hypnotized. It's
Okay.
just how far you will allow the person that's trying to hypnotize you.
So you can fight it.
You can fight. You can fight anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything else. It's just like if I asked you, do you, excuse me, if you come to me and you said, I want to stop smoking. Well, the first question I'm going to ask you is why? And if you said, because my mom and dad says that I shouldn't be smoking anymore. Well, no, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Because here again, and I've talked about this in the past, you've got to want to help yourself before somebody else can help
Right.
you. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
If I'm telling you all this stuff about how bad smoking is, which you already know, and I try to take you in a hypnotic state and explain this to you, then your conscious mind is going to block your subconscious mind. You're not going to let that filter is going to come up. Okay?
Right.
And it's going to block anything I say or do. That's
Because I don't really believe you.
Right. And that conscious mind of yours is saying, oh, he's full of crap.
Yeah.
I've
If
been
anybody's
smoking
wondering why he's discussing smoking, it's because I'm a smoker.
we're going to work on that in the future.
We are.
But and that's just a good example.
No,
I
it
mean,
really is
this
because
a
it's
good
something
example.
a lot of people do.
Right. And then, a lot of people want to come and say, okay, well, I've been to a hypnotist and it didn't help me. Well, yeah, why? Let's figure out why it didn't
Right.
help you, okay?
Yeah.
Because what a hypnotist does is he takes and places little hints in your subconscious mind, whether you're realizing it or not. It might be in a conversation I'm having you while you're in this state. And this little hint is going to pop up every once in a while and help you if you allow those hints to be placed into your memory. And the reason that you allow it is because you believe in what's going on. So therefore, you're taking down that filter and it's going into your subconscious mind. But like I said,
That
if
makes
you're
sense.
sitting there and whatever I'm saying to you, you're saying he's full of crap, even though you're in a state, you still haven't shut down that conscious mind of yours because you're not going to shut it down.
Yeah.
Okay? We could sit there for hours and
You kind of have to be willing to
Right.
relax it, almost like a muscle.
yeah, I mean, it's just, exactly like a muscle.
Yeah.
It's just
That's so
your attitude
interesting.
coming in.
Yeah.
You can be helped. It does work, but if you're going to come in with a blocked mind and you're not going to help me, you're just here wasting my time, or you're here just getting money, or whatever you
Or this
come
is
up
just
with.
fun for me.
Yeah, this is just fun for me. I just wanted to see what this crap was all about.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get out of it. You're going to see what the crap's all about.
Yeah.
But
That is so interesting.
yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. If a person doesn't want to be healed, he's not going to be healed.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's one for the paranormal. What about past life regression? Have you ever tried doing that with someone, and is it possible?
The answer to the first part, no, I haven't tried it. The answer to your second part, yes, it's possible.
Wow, I'd love to see it happen.
It all depends on the person,
Yeah.
how I guess accepted they are to deep sleep, going back, freeing up their mind. Because we've got a lot of filters we got through to get back to wherever you want to try to go.
You got to go pretty far back.
Right. And you got to work with this person. You might not get there the first time. You might not even get there the second time, but you can get there.
Okay.
I've seen it done. I've sat in on some regression sessions, and they're very interesting.
Yeah.
The person can say and see things that there was one that was talking about something in Egypt, and I don't know anything about Egypt, but right after I was making notes during the session, and I went back and did some research, and boy, they were describing it, and Either they've been there recently or they've been there in the past. But somebody knew what they were talking about.
That's so cool.
They said that they hadn't been there in the past, but he was not a king or queen. He was actually a laborer.
Well, that makes sense. I always question the ones who say, "Well, I was Queen Elizabeth I." Yeah, right.
All right, we got a block right there to start with. Right?
Yeah.
That one's filtered out. But yeah, you're right. I mean, people, they want to go back to their childhood. They want to see what happened. And I've taken people back, and they've talked about, or I haven't talked to them, but I've been in some studies where they talk about being in the womb. They talked about what they've seen, and here again we've had all these children that come forward and talking about their lives before they were born, and there's a lot of them out there. Hey, I was your grandfather, that sort of thing, and to them it's very true, and I can't say it's not. And
they
true
give some crazy details because
it's and some of them are just unreal. I mean, it just. I'm sitting there with my mouth hanging open saying, "Oh," especially a little boy who was the fighter pilot.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But hypnosis. You can go back if that's where you want to go. Most people go in for some type of healing. They want to relieve some pain, or they want to find out why they feel this way about a certain subject. So there's a lot of reasons for going in and talking to a hypnotist.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like something that everybody would benefit from. It's kind of like yoga or something. Everyone would benefit from that deep level of relaxation and to allow even just the body and the mind to fully, deeply relax so that you're just refreshed in a way that you aren't normally.
And that's true. The problem this day and time, it's hard to get people to relax because of so much going on.
Oh, that's so true.
So much tragedy in the world, so much in their own lives.
Yeah.
So much they're worried about the changing climate. They're worried about this. They're worried about that. And some people just when I can shut down their conscious mind, that's well worth the time because of the fact that they had some true relaxation. And we were not trying to interpret somebody's dream. It was just, this is what happened. And I told you about this in a minute. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but a gentleman came to me and it says, I really believe in this stuff. I really want to be hypnotized. And so I hypnotized him, and he started talking about some things that was very personal. And then when he came out, he didn't remember talking to me about those. He says, "Well, nothing happened. It's pretty decent." I just looked at him and said, nothing happened. But it's just one of those things where, if you see all these tricks on the TV, those are real, but they're real because that person allowed them to be real.
Right.
Okay. I can't make you bark like a dog.
Unless you want to bark like a dog.
Now, we did do in our training, I was able to take an individual and I told him to count to 1 through 10. And when he got to 8, I had told him that 8 does no longer exist. And when we woke him up, he said, "Now we need you to count to 1 to 10. He goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And we said, "No, you got to count to 10. He says, "Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And
oh my God.
And he says, "What's wrong?" He couldn't figure out. He left out the 8, but he left out the 8 until we put him back under and put the 8 back in.
And gave him the 8 back.
So it's all in I don't know how long that would have lasted because I don't know how far back we planted that seed, but that seed did work. And so, that's the same seed we plant about one of the ways that I might get you to stop smoking is one of the questions I might ask you is, what's the worst tasting thing that you can think of? And you'll give me something. And so, in our conversation while you're sleeping, I will make a comment about that and say, when you taste a cigarette, it's going to taste like milk or whatever. And then so when you come out and you start smoking, next thing you think of, hey, this cigarette doesn't taste right. It tastes yucky.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a seed that's in your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the time that seed, I hope it stays in there permanently. We can't guarantee it's going to stay in there permanently because it's like anything else. And, time changes. But by the time that you realize that, hey, that was a seed he planted in my memory during a hypnotic trance.
And hopefully you're weaned off of them.
Yeah, you don't want a cigarette now anyway. So
yeah.
But like I said, if you come in there thinking that this is a bunch of crock and I'm doing this because my wife wants me to stop smoking, well, you're not going to stop smoking because your wife wants you to stop smoking or your husband wants you to stop smoking or your family wants you to stop smoking. If you want to stop smoking, I can help you. But if you're just doing it for somebody else, don't waste your time or money. It's not going to work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that was really interesting. Thanks so much for the information. Let's see. Oh, I have one more question for you. This actually came up earlier today with my mom. I was telling her that that you do hypnotism and all this stuff, and that I do self-hypnosis to meditate and sometimes just to relax after I've had a long day. And she said, "Oh, that's really scary. Is there anything to be afraid of or anything dangerous about hypnotism?"
No, because you're just going into your own thoughts. Now, if you've got a lot of scary things back in the back of your mind, there might be something there. Scary would only be if you believe that this hypnotist is going to place something there that shouldn't be there. I mean, you got to have faith in your hypnotist. But no, there's nothing scary about it. I can't make you believe anything that you wouldn't believe anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you believe in ghosts if you don't believe in ghosts, period. It's not going to happen. So it's, I don't understand. I'd have to talk to your mother about the theory
it's called,
behind
like
that.
the power of suggestion? Because you're not like, it's not the power of me putting something into your brain. You're putting a subtle suggestion, right?
That's correct.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to your mother to find out her theory behind
Good luck.
Trust me, she will tell me.
I'm sure.
I might not want to hear it, but she will tell me. So I might be able to address her issues with this.
I think she would benefit from it. Like you said, it's great for pain, and she's going through all this back pain right now. And the relaxation aspect, she definitely could use a little bit of stress-free. I don't know, but...
Well, there's a lot of people out there that, like I said, there's a lot of believers in everything.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people that's going to roll their eyes when they hear this. And there's a lot of people going to say, ooh, wow.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Could be something. So, here again.
And hey, if you're in the Clemens, Winston-Salem area, send us an email if you're interested in some hypnosis at mothmanpodcast@gmail.com.
And next podcast will be actually on Amanda and her medium and
mediumship. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about the tarot cards and
which actually I learned a little bit from you tonight, even about being a medium, because you were talking about how the subconscious, if you can remove that filter, that's kind of how it's your access to the paranormal in a way. And that's like, I've always tried to almost force the mediumship in some aspects. Some of it comes absolutely naturally to me. I don't have to think about, but I feel like if I can relax the logic and just kind of let the subconscious and remove that filter and just relax my brain and accept what is there. I feel like that's something that I've learned from you tonight.
Well, like I said, that's moving forward, with helping other people.
Yeah,
just by helping oneself. You used the terminology paranormal. So you said when you go back and you're using the paranormal, and sometimes I think we use that word paranormal in the wrong context. I think paranormal needs to be more of an entity or a subject that we can't explain.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's not frightening.
It's not abnormal. It's
not
normal.
Abnormal. It's normal, and I think that we've got to change the perception that everybody has when they hear the word paranormal, because paranormal say, "Uh-oh, there's a ghost behind the building." No, paranormal means there's some entity or some event or something that we can't explain.
Yeah,
it's there, but we're working more. This is 2019, and we're a long ways we were from 1920.
Yeah.
So things are changing. And they're not changing, because if you go back and you correlate between 1920 and 2019, you're going to see a lot of things that parallel. But there's a lot of new advances. But scientists are now coming aboard, where scientists were completely saying, no, this is no way this can happen. Well, the quantum theory and a lot of other stuff that's came through is changing the scientists' mind.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things out there, and you're going to see all that as we go forward.
Yep.
So I'm really looking for a good, future in this field. I'm looking forward to studying a lot of new stuff. I'm looking forward to bringing a lot of new podcasts out there to you guys.
Definitely.
So again, thank you for listening to us tonight, and I hope that you are able to download this episode and listen to us in the future. Good night, Amanda.
Good night, guys. And if you're overseas, definitely send us an email.